So we're talking Bones and All today, the new film from Luca Guadagnino. If I can get the pronunciation right, we struggled with that before. Hello, this is Boys on Film. My name is Phil Marriott. I'm with Raj Rudolph to talk everything LFF. I'm gutted I missed this at the festival, Raj. You saw it though, and I'm guessing you're probably going to see it again because you're a big Luca fan.
I love Luca. Luca Guadagnino. I love Luca. Just saying, like, the whole cast came out during the premiere, and it was such a joy. I mean, obviously, there was a lot of Timothée Chalamet fans in the audience with their things that they're hoping to get signed and everything. It's so amazing to see how his star has risen so much, but the whole cast was there, including Taylor Russell, who is amazing. I don't know if you saw the movie Waves, but she was absolutely incredible in that. Michael Stuhlbarg, the father from Call Me By Your Name, was in this as well.
He's amazing.
Chloë Sevigny was in it as well, which I did not know going into it, so that was a nice surprise. But it's really cool to see, like, Luca Guadagnino's actor collective all still coming back for his films, which is a testament to his filmmaking and filmmaking style. If actors just keep wanting to work with him, he says, I want to make this film, and they jump on board. So and also Luca came out wearing a nice brown suit, but it had a dish drainer, like metal silver dish drainers all like sewed into it, and I was like, that's so campy, but I love it.
That's so gaga, isn't it? Or Björk, the sort of thing they do. So we were going to see Alleluia, which was the comedy, very black comedy drama, based on the play by Alan Bennett, and it starred Jennifer Saunders. We were going into that screening, and just as we were going in, I bumped into Stu from Stu Talks, one of the other film review channels, and we've been kind of messaging each other on social media, and he'd just come out of Bones and All because it was the same day, but obviously you went to another screening, and he said it was amazing. And I didn't actually realise it was a horror until you showed me the trailer. So it wasn't down on my list of films to see, despite obviously being a late addition to the programme this year. But yeah, I'm a fan of his. I mean, we saw Luca's last film, which was, I think, Suspiria was the last one he did, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Call Me By Your Name the year before. So Luca's turning into quite the yearly LFF installation. So, I mean, Luca's coming to town and the LFF just rolls the red carpet out.
So it's almost like an amalgamation of the romance and the horror in this, because it's been described as a coming-of-age romantic cannibal road film, if that's not spoiling anything.
So, well, let me lay it out for you. I'll read the Google description. So... Love blossoms between a young woman on the margins of society and a disenfranchised drifter as they embark on a 3,000-mile odyssey through the back roads of America. However, despite their best efforts, all roads lead back to the terrifying past and a final strand that will determine whether their love can survive their differences. So they don't mention in this description that it's basically a movie about cannibals.
But the title, I suppose, would hint at that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the title hints at it, but it's kind of like, I never, put together that cannibals would be sort of like the new horror creature or something like that. But, cannibals are very in this year, a.k.a., Jeffrey Dahmer and, the runaway success that the Dahmer series it's had on Netflix with Evan Peters, and vampires are back as well.
I'd never thought I'd hear you say cannibals are in this year.
Yeah, cannibals are definitely in. So, yeah, it kind of creates a new cannibal lore, with these characters. And, these characters, these cannibals, these modern day cannibals are sort of born into cannibalism, and they can sort of smell each other. And they can really just pick each other out. There's not very many of them in the world, so when they do run across their own kind, it's kind of like, oh, I thought I was the only one that existed, but apparently there is a handful of them. And then Taylor Russell's character, she's like, I've lived my whole life with never meeting anyone, and in 1 week I meet two of them. So it's kind of like, but basically the film starts off, she's just a young sort of teenage girl. Her dad's had to move her around quite a bit because basically every once in a while she eats people, and that's not really acceptable. but the opening scene, I will tell you, like, there's a scene where, minor spoiler alert, but she's at a sleepover and she's having a conversation with a friend, and then basically the friend puts her finger on her face, and she like takes a bite out of her finger. And I've never seen so many grown men in an audience wince. They went there, and that's the opening scene. And I was just looking across the audience, and like these grown ass men were like, "Oh my god!" But I didn't think it was a horror movie either. I think the first early teasers, sort of focused on the love blossoms between a young man and young woman in a marginal society. But the second trailer release was like full on horror. And actually, after watching the movie, that second trailer is pretty much taken from one sort of extended scene in the middle that's quite scary. And also another cannibal played by Michael Stuhlbarg. So, and I was like, he was so unrecognizable. And I was like, oh my God, is that the dad from Call Me By Your Name? Like, and I actually stuck around to watch the credits because I wanted to verify that was him, and it was him. So what a transformation. He plays some hillbilly cannibal crazy guy, and I was like, that is so out of his character.
Do you know what, that proves what a great actor he is? I mean, the amount of films that I've seen him in over the last 10 years is just incredible, and so diverse as well. Such a diverse actor. I'm getting I'm getting Lost Boys vibes. Can you compare it to anything else?
Definitely not Lost Boys. Lost Boys has a certain sexiness about it. The only thing that I can compare this to is Luca's previous work. So it's got that very romanticized, longing shots of like Call Me By Your Name, where the surroundings are almost cast members themselves. So it's got sort of that lovely, beautiful, hazy day sort of feel that we come to know from Luca's stuff. But it's also got that creepy, gory horror element that we came to watch in Suspiria, which kind of like, I can't watch that movie again. It was too much. Like, so it kind of takes Suspiria and Call Me By Your Name and blends them together, and the end result is pretty amazing, actually.
We mentioned it before. We saw Suspiria about like 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was almost 3 hour film, and we just came out, our brains were fried after that. So yeah, that was an experience.
I was kind of traumatized, but I always say if a movie really affects me that much, it's probably pretty good. So hats off to Chloë Sevigny, who's in this film as well. She plays Taylor Russell's mother, also a cannibal, who where she got her cannibalism from. So the whole film kind of takes place of like Taylor Russell's character trying to find her mother. She never knew her mother. Well, her mother is locked up in a mental institution because that's basically one of the 3 paths that you can choose when born with this cannibalism affliction. So I love Chloë Sevigny, and I loved her in We Are Who We Are, which was Luca's TV series that he did in between some of the movies, and it's one of my favorite series of all time. So it's lovely to see her come back as one of the acting troupe of Luca's harem of actors. So.
Can we just talk also about, whilst we're talking about the cast, can we just mention somebody that you just completely forgot to mention who's part of the cast here, and that is the director of the recent Halloween trilogy, David Gordon Green.
Really?
So I couldn't believe this when I saw this. I had no idea he'd starred in this. Apparently he joined the cast back in May. Yes, David Gordon Green.
Seriously, only you would be able to pick that out.
You don't remember him being in it.
No. I mean, there's also a character of Sully played by Mark Rylance, who has a way much bigger role than the part of Brad. But he is kind of the creepy stalker guy throughout the whole thing. So there's like this common thread where he keeps showing up, and you kind of forget about him because he doesn't really do much except kind of be there and kind of creepy. But the final standoff in the film, he shows up and you're like, oh, oh my God. So watch out for Mark Rylance's performance as Sully. He's really good in this film. And
he was in another film called Inland as well. There's a lot of crossover with the LFF this year. He's, in that film, which I didn't think was very good at all, but he's usually brilliant.
Yeah, he was really good in this film. And going back to the point of, like, cannibalism is in, like, we got to talk about Armie Hammer, who's, under, allegations of being a cannibalist. And
that documentary is disturbing.
Yeah, and just how ironic is that Luca and Timothée, who's also a producer on this film, I believe, have made a movie about cannibalism.
Wow.
In light of the Armie Hammer allegations. So
star rating then, Raj. More importantly, how many are you going to give it? I'm getting a feeling that it's going to be your favourite film. Is it at the festival?
No, my favorite film of the festival is definitely The Whale. But I will give Bones and All a 5 because I think that it's worth seeing twice. So one of the highlights of this year's LFF for me, and I would love to see this film again to dissect it even more. So
we need to come back and
come out on November 18th is the release day.
Right.
So
I'll be seeing it, so we need to revisit, and I can let you know what I think of it. I've got a funny feeling I'm going to like it, but I liked Call Me by Your Name. I didn't love Suspiria, but I thought it was interesting. His take on the Dario Argento movie.
There's a lot of blood in this movie, Phil. It's
we like a lot of blood.
Gory. It's very gory. And I saw some big dudes in the audience couldn't even take it. Like, that opening scene will grab you.
Excellent. So let us know if you're going to see Bones and All. Drop a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got loads of other reviews for the LFF, the London Film Festival this year, 2022. So make sure to check out the playlist. And we'll be back soon. See you later.